Hello and welcome to Buzz This Week. My name is Tanay Tiwari and before you misrecognize me, अरे मैं postman है. हाँ, news लेके आया और थोड़े से memes. On the show this week, Yuvraj Singh 2.0. Is 2020 the year of the Knight Riders? Australia versus India, the inside scoop. And the trouble in cricket South Africa explained. When he hit those 6 sixes in WT20 2007 and then went on to be the man of the tournament for India in the 2011 World Cup, you said, "Yuvi Paji, isse zyada surprise nahi kar sakte kisi ko." Then he fought cancer, came out victorious on the other side and staged a comeback for the ages, won India games from unthinkable positions and retired with a glorious career. And then you said, maybe this is where the full stop comes. But 2020 hai, and finally some good news in 2020. Yuvraj Singh has decided to come out of his retirement and play domestic cricket for Punjab. Yes, in a chat with CricBuzz, he confirmed this news. He said that while he was training with youngsters from the Punjab team like Shubman Gill, Simran Singh, Abhishek Sharma and the likes, he went into the nets, started batting and realized that he was still hitting the ball really well despite not having played the game for a while. And he says now he wants to win championships for Punjab. After a few deliberations with people in the Punjab Cricket Association, he shot an email to the BCCI bosses asking them to allow him to come out of his retirement. Yuvi Baji, आप इंडियन क्रिकेट के ना असली Y+ सिक्योरिटी हो. दिल ले. But 2020 hasn't only brought about one good news, it's brought about two for the Knight Riders fans. Yes, Trinbago Knight Riders won CPL 2020. 12 games on the trot. Yes, 12 games on the trot and they are now safely socially distant from every other side in the Caribbean Premier League. You don't believe me? Win Bravo has the same thing to say.
Number 4. Right now we distance ourselves from the rest. Jamaica, oh, we are lucky. Jamaica 2. Who again? Barbados at 2. KKR, we have 4. I don't so much. We have 4. So right now we social distance ourselves from the rest.
And the boss seemed very happy with this win. Now, there's not a lot common between the Trinbago Knight Riders and the Kolkata Knight Riders apart from Sunil Narayan and Brendan McCullum. But if the Knight Riders in the IPL can do maybe half of what the Knight Riders in the CPL did, it would hold them in good stead. And they've started preparing for that. They've beefed up their pace attack, bringing in Ali Khan, who becomes the first player from the United States of America to be a part of an IPL side's squad. Yes, Ali Khan is spectacular. Although I've seen some of his celebrations and Ali bhai, just a suggestion, aapko manna ho mano, nahi manna ho mat mano, but don't bring that celebration out in front of Kohli every time you meet him. Yes, he asked Kesrick. Har cheez ka note hai Kohli bhai ke paas. I'm not kidding. Kohli must also be keeping note of how Adam Zampa is bowling in the ongoing ODI series between Australia and England. He's been a star performer for Australia in both the ODIs. The series, though, is well poised. The first game saw Sam Billings' century go in vain as England failed to chase down 290 plus. In the second game, it was a smallish target. Australia collapsed because Owen Morgan marshalled his troops really well. The bowler stood up. But what stood out was Morgan's captaincy. He was cool, calm and composed throughout the chase. KKR आपका ही सही है. Ali Khan, Owen Morgan, है जी? If there's excitement in the build-up to the IPL, there's more excitement in the build-up to the India's tour of Australia due to happen later this year. So much so that Mohammad Shami has said that the IPL will serve as a good practice ground for all the players who will be headed to Australia later this year. And now South Australian Cricket Association has said that when Indian players arrive, they will be allowed to train in smaller clusters while in quarantine. Sir, when का ही तो जवाब मांग रहे हैं, कुछ schedule बता दो, थोड़ा तो बता दो कब आना जाना है, क्या है? It's right now it seems like that elusive holiday that your parents promised you as kids कि हाँ चलेंगे. But it's just in that planning stage. Give us some details. But to be fair to Cricket Australia, they've also seen COVID-19 outbreaks in various cities, which is becoming a problem for them in terms of planning a concrete schedule for the India's tour of Australia due to happen later this year. All that we can hope for though is for that schedule to come out soon and there be more competitive cricket between India and Australia. The schedule of trouble for Cricket South Africa doesn't seem to be ending. After a financial turmoil because of COVID-19, they have now been suspended by the South African Sporting Confederation, citing corruption allegations within Cricket South Africa. This means that the South African government may take over the control of Cricket South Africa, which is in contravention with ICC's constitution, which mandates that the boards must be autonomous and must not be interfered with in terms of their operations by any government. This means that Cricket South Africa may go down the Zimbabwe cricket route and may be suspended by the ICC, which will disallow them any participation in ICC-sanctioned tournaments. Does that mean that it'll have a bearing on IPL too? Well, IPL contracts between players and the BCCI are tripartite agreements between the player, the BCCI and their host board. And since this is a BCCI-sanctioned tournament, it may not be trouble for South African players in the IPL. But post that, Cricket South Africa's future looks bleak at the moment. Last week on the Bus Challenge, we went down the nostalgic alley. आपसे पूछा अपने favorite bats बताइए बचपन के और आप लोगों ने यार emotional कर दिया. Shreyas Dikshit on YouTube said that he loved the GM of Graham Smith, the Kookaburra of Ponting and the famous Adidas of Sachin Tendulkar. While Abhishek Bhattacharjee on Instagram said that his favorite bats are Freddie Flintoff's Woodworm, Baz McCullum's Slazenger and Rahul Dravid's Britannia. Sayan Chakrabarti on Twitter said that his favorite bats growing up were Kingfisher of Sourav Ganguly, that's an old one, Britannia of Rahul Dravid and the Hero Honda of Yuvraj Singh and Virender Sehwag. It's funny how growing up we forgot so many of these bat brands. Thank you so much for bringing back all those memories. Your bus challenge this week has to be an IPL challenge, right? With just under a week to go for the IPL. Okay, fine. It's very easy. Give me your favorite IPL moment. It's a vast array. Bata do, chun lo. I'll tell you mine. Mine comes from the final of last year where Quinton de Kock missed one from Jasprit Bumrah in the penultimate over of that CSK chase. It could have costed Mumbai the game, the trophy. And yet Jasprit Bumrah went to de Kock and put an arm around his shoulder and said, "It's okay, buddy." That was the beauty of sport in that one picture. Which is yours? You can tell us using hashtag BuzzThisWeek. कहीं भी बता दो. मैं तो postman है, मैं निकाल लेगा. आप भेज दो बस. That's all in this episode of Buzz This Week. Until next week, remember, although cricket news का काम नहीं है ये बताना, but मैं आपको बता दूं कि COVID का खतरा टला नहीं है दोस्तों. It's still very much out there. So, masks up.